Welcome back to Joy After Grief. This is video number 8. And today, this one is pretty heavy. I'm going to talk about risk, and specifically risk as it relates to choosing to bring children into the world. We all take risks in different ways, different parts of our lives. There's a lot you could say about that. And I guess if you were going to start to compare the kind of risks we take, choosing to get married, for example, I think is pretty high up on that list. When we choose to commit to someone in marriage, there's a lot of risk involved in that for different reasons. And then, right up there with that, very closely connected, is the decision to have children, to bring children into this world. That also is a risk for a lot of reasons. And so right now, what I want to ask is, what if the worst case scenario happens? You lose a child. Why is it worth the risk of having done that? I am just one of many, many people in this world, men and women, who have lost a child. Some have lost more than one child. And so this is a very real thing for a lot of people. And in a way, there's probably no need for me to say anything about this, because I think that any parent out there would just say, of course there's no regrets. Of course I don't regret bringing a child into this world. As parents, we sometimes may have regrets about the way that we've raised our children, or mistakes we think we've made, or whatever. That's one thing. But as far as the decision to bring a child into the world, there's no regrets. But still, I want to give at least one reason why I think that may be the case, just speaking personally. And in my experience, it goes something like this. When we bring a child into the world, usually we think in terms of, we do something. A man and a woman commit to each other, and then out of that relationship comes forth this new life, and a child is born and comes into the world. And you see that especially in the case of the mother. The child literally, comes from the mother's body. And of course, that's true. That's all true. But while something is born outside of us, something else at the same time is born within us. This new spiritual reality is planted in the heart of a father, and it's planted in the heart of a mother. And it's a very real, living, spiritual thing. And it's this connection with the child. And it's very real. And of course, it's wonderful, and it's just a source of life and joy and blessings, and challenges and so forth. But it's a very good thing. And so, if the worst case scenario happens and we lose a child, that thing that's inside of us, we do not lose it. It does not die. It continues to exist. And even though it causes us pain, that's not the whole story. It continues to offer us life and light and spiritual sustenance. And so, speaking personally, when I lost my son Silas to cancer, a very, very important and very real part of our relationship, I lost his physical presence here, on earth in this life. And that is a very real loss, and it's very, very difficult. Nevertheless, there's more to it than that, because I believe that he still is very much alive, and I still very much feel that connection with him in my heart and my soul. And that thing that was born in me, as a father, it is still alive. So on the one hand, it's a connection with Silas, who is still alive, but it is itself a thing that is still alive inside of me. And it transcends past, present, and future. And by the way, I'm not just talking about memories, that he lives on in my memories. That's part of it, but it's much, much more than that. It's a very real spiritual thing that lives on inside of me. and it's a connection with Him. And I believe that there are countless parents throughout the ages who have experienced this or something similar to it. And I think that this is one of the main reasons why there's no sense of regret for having brought a child into this world. And that is why that sense of, is it worth the risk? Is it worth the risk? Absolutely. It is worth the risk 100, 1,000 times over. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. Thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow.